So I'm going to start with a story. In the early 60s, people started realizing, started kind of becoming more aware of what industrial civilization was doing to Earth and talking about what it might take if we had to leave a dying planet to start a colony on Mars, for example. So in order to live elsewhere, we would need to recreate Earth's life support system in a new place. So fast forward to the early 90s, a wealthy investor from Texas put a lot of money into building a prototype for what they call the total life system that humans could bring to another planet if we needed to. So it was described as an experiment, and the idea is that this sealed world would support its inhabitants without inputs from the outside world. So a big compound was built in the Arizona desert on 3 acres, and they called it Biosphere 2. So they brought in thousands of species of plants and animals, including hummingbirds and honeybees, and even small primates and others. They built a farm and other artificial ecosystems, including a rainforest, a desert, and a marsh. So for about $200 million, they built and ran this sealed ecological world where 8 people spent the next 2 years of their lives. And the experiment started failing fairly quickly after they all moved in. So they started losing oxygen because a bacterium in the soil that was proliferating ate up all the oxygen. All the pollinators died, so no one was there to pollinate their food crops. Carbon dioxide levels were getting too high. The water was taken over by algae, and the land was taken over by cockroaches. So the participants couldn't feed themselves, and they started starving. So this was humanity's strongest attempt to build and maintain an ecosystem, and it failed. It collapsed. The deputy director of this project said, after a few years, what they did learn, the single most important lesson, was just about how little we truly understand the Earth's systems. A journalist followed that with, the Earth's systems are just too complex and interconnected to be able to recreate them completely. So I think the lesson from Biosphere 2 is that there's a lot we don't know about ecosystems themselves, even the ones we try and build. So we're left with Biosphere 1, which is Earth. And 25 years later, we're losing a lot of wildlife and wild places. So the other life forms that we share this planet with are in decline in a big way. I'm sure that many people here have had their own sense of this if you spent a lot of time in the bush over the last 40 years or longer. According to a global scientific assessment done a few years ago, populations of animals with backbones, so that's mammals, birds, amphibians, reptiles, and fish, that are being monitored have seen a 69% drop in their numbers or populations since 1970. In 2018, researchers did a comprehensive accounting of the body weight of all life on Earth. This time it was their weight as the biomass of life. It was a global snapshot of the abundances of life forms that we know of. So they looked at all wild animals and plants, as well as humans and our domesticated animals. And if we focus on mammals, like us, we're mammals, 60% of all land mammals on Earth now are livestock, mostly cattle and pigs, 36% are humans, and just 4% are wild mammals. So that's represented by the lonely rhino in that circle there. That means that 4% of life on Earth now are the bears, whales, wolverines, deer, beavers, elephants, jaguars. Updated numbers from 2023 show that the total weight of Earth's wild mammals, from elk, deer, mice, lynx, orcas, is now less than 6% of the combined tonnage of women, men, children, and farm animals and pets on Earth. So that's the little green slice that you see off to the left. And the first main reason for this is habitat loss, which is showing as red here. And of course, all of us here know this already pretty much. So we're displacing wild animals and other life forms globally by turning natural habitats into roads, farms, urban areas, mines, cut blocks. None of this is new to you guys, I know that. And what that looks like here is that we're turning places like this, which is in Lheidli-T'enneh and Simcoe territory, into this or worse. So we know that global biodiversity loss is much higher than background rates. So there's always been extinction in the past, but it's orders of magnitude higher than those background rates now. And it's been driven mainly by deforestation and forest degradation, which means roads and logging, logging and road building. So it's associated with the destruction of intact forest landscapes, that is, primary forests for materials. A primary forest is a forest of any age that has never been industrially logged. That's it.